Where would I start with this read? Honestly, I do not know. The first thing I will say in prior to starting is that this can feel as though we are learning a karmic lesson. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but we're going to travel through this and see directly what is coming through. So for those of you that don't know, I'm your host, Yildiz from Yildiz Readings, and I'm a psychic medium, twin flame coach, as well as a twin flame. Now, the first card, like I said, it was strange, really sitting here with the cards. The first message I was getting, especially in the context of the read, and like I said, we're going to go through this together. I pull the cards. I try to have my ego detached from them, especially because I am one myself, so that I can go through that journey with you guys, because I do feel this is collective energy and not one of us really is immune from that factor. And there is in the context some spiritual growth we're going through, but to me, I'm hoping it's going to be positive, but I feel we need to get into the context of it. So the first thing is in the crowning energy, it could be that we are second guessing ourselves. It could be that we are feeling we are not going to be able to achieve our goals, or that we're valued, or that people appreciate us, or that people understand us. And, you know, this even could be within our own personal abilities in an area of life. Could it be in relationship to the twin flame path? It could be. But again, that is the first context I got coming through. And I think the worrying thing I see, especially in the context of the overarching energy, was the feeling looking to the past is that you have been in the thick of it, okay? This is your root, your foundation, the red chakra. Usually with these new beginnings and chapters, especially when we're seeing number synchronicities, they can have significant meanings. And I am going to create a chapter that is going to be dedicated to information content. And one of them is going to be around the angel numbers versus your twin flame numbers. And, you know, depending upon what you're going through at the point in time, there can be a significance to that number that is very separate to the angel number. The other thing is, in the context of it, make sure to check what you're actually thinking when you see that, okay? Because it's going to give you another context. So I feel there could have been like a feeling of a tower moment. You've moved to this next stage. You're kind of saying, hey, I don't have the tools to be able to achieve what I'm wanting to do. And there was a lot of spiritual purging, a lot of things at the moment to do with family, to do with changes, our home, our environment, our conditioning. We're really raking through the leaves, okay? We are raking through the leaves. This month in the mix is quite large, especially in a significant change. So even within the coaching of my membership, which you can go to the link directly below, I'll talk about it at the end of the video. The context that I was really referencing is, if we ever had said, I'll go back to this crowning energy, don't second guess yourself. If we ever had said, am I capable? Am I worthy? Wherever we're getting fed up, we're being formed into a diamond, right? Because as it comes to the past, yes, we will grant that over. We can't even quantify how long this energy has been going on. A very long time. But in the context of it, there are shifts, and it has been between last month moving into this month. They're quite large. So when we tend to say to ourselves, heck, is anything ever going to change? I can ultimately guarantee you, I would find it very interesting to hear feedback from you guys by the end of this month if you were to say to me and you came back and chimed in and said nothing's changed, because they're big changes that we're actually moving through. So you're kind of like trying to get your navigation system back online. You know, you've moved through trials, tribulations, drama, anger, you know, 7 stages of healing. And, you know, sometimes we revisit them, but the context of where you are right now is you trying to move away from that energy. The advice is also sometimes we feel we've moved through a circumstance and it may be that different layers like an onion come up. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be punished, okay? So do you need to be perfect? Do you need to be? No, not at all. To reach in you do not have to be perfect. I can tell you that now. I thought that the whole way through. And no, but coherent, emotionally responsible, certain aspects in astrology, which I'm going to start moving into discussing with you guys. Childhood trauma and things to that degree, confidence, etc. We're going to be ebbing and flowing between the both, but whatever work you are doing on yourself this month, rest assured that it's going to be well worth it, because things are going to start moving ever so quickly. And it's also in the context of it, it's almost like saying to you, please go into your heart chakra, your heart space, in the context of your path, and say to yourself, okay, what am I spiritually wanting to have? Do I want to believe in dreams? Do I want to be a partaker in co-creating those dreams? Because I do feel that like something that's coming, sometimes we can literally say, what do I have a heart? Especially if it's been constantly broken, we can really be feeling as though, what was the direct point of having a heart? It's an inconvenience because there's these emotions, these burdens, these responsibilities. We then, can come back into it and open up again. So I feel you're at a crossroad here. But if you are needing a little bit more time, this is the month for that, to actually do that digging. And it's almost like my guides are saying to you, you are protected, but also don't punish yourself for these things. It's okay to have feelings, but it's also not good to live there like it's your holiday destination, because that's not a very attractive holiday. Universe is trying to get you to wake up. They're like, come on, these circumstances have been placed for you. How can I interpret this? How could I express this to you of what's been shown to me? Sometimes we directly can feel that when obstacles are placed in our way, universe is saying no. And yes, in some intervals, it is such. Sometimes, however, when these obstacles are placed in our path, it's almost to prove if we do or don't want something. So what example could I give you of that factor? It could be being at a horrible job. And you're like, look, it's comfortable, it's secure, it's providing finances. And, you could be telling your friends about it, telling your family. And meanwhile, you're enduring it and it's getting worse and worse and worse each day. So the context of it is, when does that mountain blow, right? When we get sick of doing something the same. So the context of that is more the factor of, we will always fight for what we feel is value. We will always live for what is value. And while there is value in something, we will continue, even if we feel spiritually we can't, even if we feel spiritually we don't have the energy. Something is going to be placed in your path to ask you to ask yourself. So the guide's saying, we're not here to have a go. We're not here to make your life a living hell. We are here for you to remember who you are. We are here to help you remember what you deserve, what you can have, who you can be, who you are, and to become really sure about that and very cemented and grounded, so that external forces no longer have to quantify who you are. It's felt a lot. Yeah, oh God, okay. I am literally telling you, by the time we reach the foundation energy, I'm telling you something's up. Like, the foundation's not pissing around. The foundation with us collectively, it's come through in the karmics cards, it's come through in the masculines cards. If you haven't seen those, go and take a look at those readings. We have the non-nonsense card, and it's in reverse, and they're like, you can test us. Universe is like, no matter what, we have this map for you. You do have a destiny. I remember being so insulted by universe once upon a time. I do have past life memories. I do know that a lot of what I am living in my life, a lot of like my body, my family, all of those things, I directly chose my path. I knew that when I was coming here, I was looking for somebody, which was really weird, kind of, growing up, having that context in your mind. And then upon meeting them, it made a lot of sense, but it also didn't because it was very messy. It was like, well, how can this be so? Because I was a very traditional girl. So what I did come to learn, and I'm still learning and evolving as a twin, I will be for the rest of my journey in this incarnation on this earth. I will never say I'm ascended. I'm ascending. Now, when it comes to your relationship sector, when it comes to your values, your belief systems, your confidence, all of that, what we believe we are worth, we will attract. And also, if we've got a path, could we take the long route round? Yeah, we could. We could. It could be that you need to, I can't say talk to yourself because I think when we're in the thick of it, we can't see the hay for the clouds. But I feel if your guides, if your ancestors, if your intuition is saying, okay, we need to do some shifting here. We need to do something. We need to shift it about. This is because ultimately speaking, when we are having these really heavy vibrations or we're dealing with a circumstance that is not fun to deal with, we do have power. Sometimes we choose not to because we are very tired, we're exhausted, we're disillusioned. But somehow there is something that divine feminine is going to be needing to do. They're saying you may ultimately feel you are ill-equipped for this. Okay, there also could be some very personal things going on in your own life, and it's weird because I'm actually getting this feminine energy, which is like, yes, it's from a physical movie cartoon character. However, the context I'm getting is a parent figure. Sitting next to the girl at the foundation level, the Queen of Cups. Nonsense, okay? Card drops down to the 7 values, belief systems. I'd say definitely in the context of the feminine archetype, being that Jupiter now is in the House of Cancer. It can be where we directly are tuning into hierarchy within family, doing things becoming overwhelming, emotions becoming overwhelming, feeling like we're tribe and we're not tribe. There's something where they're wanting you to choose from your point of view, not from another's. They're wanting you to understand you can be connected to people, but still be very disconnected. It doesn't mean there's no connection. It means you are individuating. Okay, you are individual. You are connected, sometimes through blood, sometimes through just connection, point blank. And regardless of how that person shows up in the world, it doesn't mean that that story has to be yours. Your story is a different story. There could be some circumstance that is amplifying other things relating to your twin flame path. But I feel there's a test, and we're going to dig deeper. Okay, we've got the clarifiers out. Okay, what is this test that we're going through? Is it to do with a belief system or a 3D circumstance? We're going to pull one for each. A circumstance. Conditioning, I would say. This also could be, for some of you, it could be to do with Could be a karmic third party. It could be affairs relating to marriage, things that haven't gone according to plan, wanting to be married, maybe. This also could be to do with the karmic. It also could be to do with the parents' energy within the context of their personal relationship. In a sense of yourself, it's saying you can always choose what you wish to choose. But they're saying you are the only one that is standing in your way. Do not be your own worst enemy. Stand away from the painting and look inside as you are proceeding forward. They're giving me this context that you can get something done very quickly, but they're also saying where you've been is not where you're going to be. What you're dealing with is not how it's going to be. And to use your time well, look, we've got the clock twice. Like, you may think you have to wait a long time. There is something quite major shifting in your own life. Yes, it very much can be linking to your path. And 9 times out of 10 it is. But they're saying you need to use your time well. For some of you, it could be that you're being critical towards yourself, that you feel you're wasting your time. But like I said, these spiritual tests are there to help you answer those questions. We're beyond a shadow of a doubt, and it's not that you haven't been here before. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, you will ultimately not second guess yourself. Something's happening at 12. You're having some news come in, and they're also saying beware of the eclipses coming. Get prepared, get ready. Yep. They're suggesting mirror work for those of you that are really triggered. They're also referencing some shift happening within the karmic third party situation. And for those of you where the person is directly single, there is a shift happening directly connected to your path. There's a person around you. Look, it's either you or it's a person around you, which could be a twin. It's almost like if you do need that extra support, you need to reach out, okay? Don't sit with it, because I feel this person rocking back and forward. And sometimes that energy can come through when a person's in shock, when a person's quite traumatized, when a person's going in circles and spinning. And so we see this crowding energy here, and it's like keeping your temper. But, you could be showing the outside world that you're all good, but meanwhile inside you could be kind of spinning. So if that message personally relates to you and you feel you're not coping, seek a professional. Okay, it's not worth the energy to remain in that. It can be shifted. There is support for it. Separately, it can be another person that you're tuning into and you're a little bit concerned about. Okay. You can choose wisely. I see the context here. It's almost like, shit, I'm going to make the same mistake again. Am I going to mess up? Again, this whole thing relating to your path, relating to your connection with this person, they're saying don't think the worst, but they are saying that you could be tuning into something. It could be that you're needing to do something, but you just won't take your own personal advice. I do feel there also can be some information coming up about what is different. And they're saying no matter what, could you be ascended and deal with a person who isn't totally ascended? I asked myself that question ages ago. And I recall thinking to myself, effectively, if I'm ascended or woke, I should act like an adult. And I'm criticizing myself here. By no means am I projecting towards you. So please do not take offense. So I remember having that private chat with myself and I was like, shit. So I think sometimes, if we are self-mastering and getting to that place where we can still love a person, maybe still be cheesed off that the person was rude, disrespectful, uncaring, whatever that term is that you're using, especially if in the context you feel this person doesn't care about you. Your guides are wanting you to get grounded. Your guides are wanting you to prioritize yourself. They're not referencing anything to the such that there is no movement with this path, but they're really putting my eyeballs on you. They're really placing them there where they're saying you do have so much more power than you think. And even from your vibration and you getting grounded, you will actually be able to step in and see this like you're looking into a painting of your life. Because I do feel for some of you, there could be communication coming and I feel there could be movement. But it's really necessary to get to that space. And it's not you're going to be in a perfect space. It could be a test for you to not act like a karmic, to be triggered, to be, whoop ass. Because you probably do have plenty you could say to this person. But the thing is, we don't match a negative with the negative because we're always going to get the same. I do think there's a potential of change here. And I definitely think something's coming very quickly. For some of you, it can be that you are feeling you are wasting your time. But universe is sending a test for you. But that test is so that you put your hand out and grab your trophy. Now, for those of you that don't know, we do have some news. We do have a Sage in a Circle membership email waitlist open. The information and links are directly below. The link previously was not working. I have updated it and we are moving with a new email provider that is going to be able to give you all the information to do with our new courses that are coming, any webinars that we're going to be hosting, any changes that are happening with Yildiz Readings 5D. Now, we also do host the Twin Flame content here. I am going to be creating education content. It is going to be gradual because I am working 2 jobs at the moment, but definitely those bookings and those memberships do support me to get those extra software, content, production, etc. So the booking list is open. Yes, the links are below. We do have limited spots. We also do host emergency readings, coaching, etc. And we are updating the website. So Sage in a Circle Network's email has its own host page. So if you do want to take a look at that, fantastical information below and you can sign up. Separately, I will see you next week for the Twin Flame content.